and the Republican governor of the state of New Hampshire now, Chris Sununu. Welcome back to the show, Governor Sununu. I know, I think sometimes we just pause and listen. I'd be interested to take your take in today on the why, because you'd been telling us before it would happen. It did. Did some of this even surprise you, or what were you thinking as you saw it come in last night?
Well, yeah, look, I don't think I think just the idea that he took the popular vote was pretty surprising. Yeah. But I'm going to challenge you on one thing. The country did not shift to the right. The Democrat Party walked to the left. The voters are where they are. Their families are where they are. Their businesses are where they are. Their principles are where they've been. But this Democrat Party has gotten so extreme, so out there, right, where they never were before, right? 25 years ago, did the Democrat talk about open borders, defunding the police, all this? No. So that's what this election was really about more than anything. Saying, look, we're American and American values. So I always challenge folks, not you per se, but
I get what you're saying.
This idea that everyone is becoming more conservative. You know, it's the party, and that's, I think, what's going to happen in the coming months. There's obviously a lot of finger pointing going on that side of things. And, you know, it was said, I heard somebody say it on TV, they said, this is actually an opportunity for the Democrat Party to take a breath and say, look, what are we about here? Right? Are we about just pushing these extreme agendas, or are we about really engaging with the American people? And how do we do that? With a Democrat agenda, that's fine, and engage them on their issues. That was the other issue. Other problem here is they kept talking about abortion, which is an important issue. Of course it is. Right. Let's not minimize that. But for so many Americans, it might not have been their top priorities. So the Democrats talked about what they wanted to talk about, not what the American public wanted to engage with. So it's a subtle difference, but I think it moves things just 2 or 3% in all these states across the board, and you know, this is where we are today.
Exactly. I think you're probably describing it, to your point, a little bit better than I am. That's why I asked you the question, because it was a shift, but you're saying the why and the explanation. Right up here, we have another race call. I'll be back to you in a second, Governor. This is from the Senate. Michigan Senate goes to Alyssa Slotkin, so she does hang on there and win it in a very close race, according to our election partners at Decision Desk HQ, over Mike Rogers, who gave her more than a run for her money. So if you look overall at what the Senate is, I have it back here, guys, big board right next to me. We'll slide back here for a second. So Michigan goes to the Democrats, brings them up to 46, but GOP controls at 52. We got Pennsylvania still up, got Arizona, Nevada. So we got a few races. You might get more. Go back to the governor in a moment. But that was the other part of it. We're talking about the big night for Republicans. We'll see how the House goes. We'll talk about that later. That might go to Republicans as well. It might be 3 for 3 here. But what about the Senate? To ask you about surprises, that was a strong night on the Senate side.
Yeah, look, without a doubt. And I think, I mean, the House is what I think we all knew they were going to probably get at least 51, 52, maybe even 53. Yep. But watch that House. I mean, let's assume the House is effectively split. The challenge for Republicans and Trump is making sure you get something passed in the House. You've got to move an agenda forward. If you get stalled, like you should have gotten more done in 2017 and 2018, and they got crushed in 2018. So the opportunity is, have we learned from that, right, as a party? Have we learned that there's got to be some compromise? You got to bring some Democrats over. You got to find some middle ground on your legislation. You got to, if you don't pass something on immigration reform, then what's the point of everything we've done? So they've set a pretty high standard and a pretty high bar. I think they can meet it, but it's not just a Republican bar. It's everyone saying, okay, we all agree immigration is an issue. You got to give a little to get a lot, find that common ground. And again, America as a whole will cheer up and say, wow, Washington finally got something done. But now's the opportunity, and hopefully they kind of learn their lesson in that first term, and they come into the second term a little wiser and with a slightly better approach to how you manage that congressional piece of what you need to achieve.
Interesting, because DDHQ hasn't made a call on House control, but our probability for the Republicans is now 92%. 210 to 194 with 218 needed for a majority. We'll have to wait probably out west in California and other places for votes to be counted before making a call. But that looks good for Republicans. But you bring up an interesting point. There's always a challenge. The old saying, the Wall Street saying, has always been gridlock is good. They like divided government. You love having all the control, but what you do with it. What do you say to people who are worried that it goes too much the wrong way here, or one way? Some Americans might be watching and saying, boy, I wish it was divided.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't think the House is going to be extreme. I mean, you're going to have a lot of folks in the middle ground. You're always going to have a couple senators even there, too, that are going to want to be the deal makers, even though, one party has control over the other. You always, it's the Joe Manchins or the Kirsten Sinemas, from last term. Who are those folks going to be this time that kind of put the brakes on things that maybe Trump and the administration wants to do to say we got to find better compromise? You'll have the same issue in the House. So I don't think you're going to get anything too extreme out of Congress.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.